First of all, Pete. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Brother.
All right.
And,
The lawn sign.
okay.
What about the sticker?
So Simeon, first of all, I wanna hold on family. So the caucus not to bring the bills up. Why did he not bring the bills up himself? No matter what the caucus said, can you speak to Member Jackson's role?
You gotta hold the sign.
So, good evening, everybody. Let me just first say, I'm from this community, right? And so I'm of the community, and I work in the state capitol to support our community, protect our community. And Dr. Jackson hired me to help him in his first term. And one thing that you must all understand is, they are their own people, right? I do advise them, and I advise them about these bills, and those bills should have went through. Okay, especially the Freedmen's Bureau bill. Those bills have problems. And Dr. Jackson and the rest of the caucus identified those problems. The governor, as he mentioned, the governor's staff tried to put a poison pill on those bills, and we refused those amendments. And when the bills came up, the members decided not to bring it up. A lot of infighting amongst the caucus, a lot of infighting between the caucus and the governor, and those bills didn't go through. And so that's where it stands. They are absolutely committed to bringing them back up again. It's going to happen, and there will be a different author. Steve Bradford is now gone. He tried, but he did it in a way that wasn't conducive to the team. None of that seems to matter today.
It doesn't.
This is the process, and we'll continue to work through the process.
So what
are you changing? You said three was wrong. What are they changing to make it better for next time?
So-
What needs to be changed?
So there is, in the bill, there's a piece in the bill that gives power over all the departments. They were concerned about that, right? And there's cost to the bill, so we gotta reduce the costs to the developing an agency. Question?
I have a question, so, maybe you can give me some clarification. I heard something about Gavin Newsom trying to allocate $6 million out of the $12 million to a university. Can you explain a little bit?
Right, yeah, so that was one of the recommendations from the governor. I spoke to the Department of Finance about that. And we were saying, when he first gave the amendment, it looked like it was a study bill. We're not taking that. We've already done that study. There's no more need for that. And they came back and said, well, it wasn't a study, and that we would want to do exactly what's in the Freedmen's Bureau bill through the universities, through the University of California. And that's where they stand right now, is saying they still want to do it, but they want to do it through the universities. Now, anything that's in the Freedmen's Bureau, which is determine who can qualify for reparations, determine how reparations will be allocated, if at all. So they want to do it, but they want to do it through the University of California system. And that is a discussion that still needs to be had, because some of us aren't feeling that, right? Some of us, we're not feeling that.
That's not.
But that wasn't a discussion that could be happening in a 24-hour period. And that's where they are.
That's not good enough, brother.
So the caucus agree with that? That's why they voted yes? The caucus will agree with that?
That's where the caucus is, and the caucus, here I'm spilling the tea, there's infighting in the caucus. And we all know that. And so now they're turning over, they have a whole new crew.
Vote them out. Yep.
Yeah.
And so the new team, which begins in December, like he said, less than 90 days, they're gonna start over.
Wow.
I want to ask a question. What do the university have to do with reparations? Because as you remember, back in slavery time, we were not allowed to go to those
Yeah.
universities.
Yeah.
So why would they have a hand in our community, you know, our past,
Yeah.
when they were terror to our past.
Right.
You know, they should not have a hand
So the
in.
reason why the University of California, according to the governor, or the governor's staff, the reason why they would do this through the university is because the university has the research apparatus and the money that can actually do this.
All of it, let me get everybody's question. So, I'm gonna see y'all, then I'm
Yes.
come
So-
sit back here.
So the government, to your question, so she said, go ahead.
No, I was saying the government, the UC Davis have to be paid from the reparation money. So why, because UC Davis, they don't have money, they get paid to do research. So the caucus or the reparation money has to go to them instead of coming back to our community or the office. But my question is, why would we trust Kevin McCarty when he is, and also the other caucus, when they are selling us out for their masters, which is the governor? They listening to him instead of listening to the community. So why would we trust him? And then now, why would we trust Kevin McCarty? He's not selling us out for his masters too, for which is the city manager. So, I mean, we're stuck as a community, our own community leaders, selling us out for their masters.
Yeah.
So this gotta stop, because they're becoming a gatekeeper, not to get the fund to come to our community.
Sure.
It should stop.
I cannot and will not speak for Assemblyman Kevin McCarty at all. But to your point, so Kevin McCarty, hi Betty, Kevin McCarty, he's not turned down, but he cannot come back to the assembly because he's running for the mayor.
And that's why you vote flow for who?
Yeah.
Let's go. You want to see the way it hurts? Vote flow for mayor.
And let me just also address, and not speaking for the governor, but why he's talking about going in that direction with universities, because funding can come from multiple directions. Specifically, you're right, it comes from the government, but research money also comes from foundations and the federal government as well. So there's plenty of money that would go towards this process as opposed to just the government.
They don't need reparations money.
But they.
That's their argument. That's their argument.
That's why we on your
What about Rob? It's on your mouth.
All right, boys.
All right, bro. Hi, sister. Good to see you.
Thank you so
She used to work in the Senate with us. Good to see you. Yeah, I told on you.
Well, then, if that be the case,
And that was awesome.
let me ask a staffer question.
Okay.
First of all, who brought those amendments? Who showed up at the office? Where'd they come from? Who they work for? Okay? What were those amendments? We don't know what they were. We could have liked them or not liked them. And then number 3, who got paid? Who gonna get paid? Because you follow the money.
Yes.
Vote or some money. Don't play it.
So, if you're talking about the amendments from the
That were
governor,
offered.
there's no money involved in that at all. There's no money in that involved at all on the amendments that came from the governor's office. But what I will tell you is when we read the amendments, it looked like a study, and we were not accepting that.
Well,
And as a staffer, my recommendation was, do not accept those amendments.
I think there was in the amendments, it did say, take 6 million, what's in the budget, and put it to one of the UCs to do the study.
The amendment that I saw said it was a study, I didn't see.
Did
all of that.
did it come from the
They all-
department, did it
they
come
all
from the
public?
Department of Finance?
Yes.
That's what she's trying to find
It
out.
came from the Department of
So I'm gonna go to brother right here?
Finance, which is the governor. When I said it came from the governor's office, the Department of Finance and the governor's office are one and the same.
Hold on, Leon. Let me go to brother right here, because brother been waiting, and then I'm gonna go to the back, because we got questions back here. Then we're gonna get to everybody's questions and your comments too, brother.
My question starts with, over the last 2 years, haven't enough professors already reviewed this information? And now you wanna kick it back to students
I
to
mean,
do the research?
make it clear, that ain't me.
That don't make sense. Professors and
Well, clarity.
educators have already reviewed this. Why are you going to?
That's why we refuse,
Experts.
that's why,
Experts.
that's why the caucus refused the amendments.
That don't make sense. It's gonna go back to the educational system.
Sorry, what doesn't make
The
sense?
students
Hold
are
on.
gonna examine this. The students are going to do the research, not another professor. Professors have already looked at it.
That's right. That's right.
Come back in.
We refuse those
Come
amendments.
in.
The caucus refused those amendments.
Let's come in too bad. Sis?
They're stalling, they're gonna, let me shut up, cause I'm getting mad.
Good evening. My name is Darlene Cody. I am a member of CJEC as well as Art Bay area. I was there for the assembly, the Senate, every single one. Committee, I gave me 2 comment. I was there for every single Senate commitment. I gave me 2 comment. I was with Chris and Kim. We were there Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday to midnight. And the excuse that there was infighting within the caucus does not fly here
Thank you.
or anywhere. But what I want, my question is this. There is $12 million that was in the budget that was set aside for reparations implementation. The SB 1403 was assigned $3 to $5 million. Well enough money for that
Peanuts.
agency to get started.
Peanuts.
No excuse, and we're no longer.
I told them the same thing.
Peanuts.
I told them the same thing. I told them the same
Well,
thing.
what's the
My
cost
job,
then?
my job was to analyze or to read the analysis of how much it would cost to develop that Freedmen's Bureau. And when I read the analysis that said exactly what you just said, $3 to $5 million to stand it up, that's budget dust in California. That ain't no real money. And my suggestion was to do it. But as a staffer, I'm just one of, I'm not even a member. I don't have a vote. But I provided a recommendation that is plenty.
They're not listening to the community. This gotta stop. We're not.
I do believe.
Vote them out.
Vote them out and put the ones in there that's gonna vote the right way. Vote them out.
Hold on, fam.
That's how we do,
I'm
we
coming
show
right
our
here.
power, we have to show our vote on those days and let them know.
They're saying register to vote.
That's what we're
We're
gonna
already
do.
ready.
And I'm gonna be there carrying
And
the
a
sign.
reminder, just a reminder, if you have moved within the last year, you have to re-register to vote.
Yes, sir.
I'd like to bring up about UC Davis and about having them supply anything. If you remember that UC Davis is a land grant, land grant organization. When they had that land grant, we did not get a dime. Okay, actually we were nullified from even getting the money. So Harvey and MLK, Martin Luther King said, hey, we coming to get the check. See, they never talk about that speech about MLK. But if you listen to it, he said that they gave them money to farm, they gave them, everything to survive during that time. We got nothing. So when we talk about land grant institution, they need to be paying reparation too.
We're gonna bring that up at the meeting.
Another
Thank
question?
you. We're gonna bring that
Thank you
up.
for taking questions, but we got another question over here, and then we got 2 questions over here.
You said earlier that the bills there was something wrong with the bills. And actually, Chair Lori Wilson told me that the bills just weren't ready. What would make 1403 ready? What would make that bill good?
And also, can I just add, let me add to that question too. Why wasn't the problems, if there were problems with the bill brought up 3, 5, 7 months ago in the committees? When you deal with the problems, why, if there are problems, why are we hearing problems the day the bills are supposed to come up for the final vote?
And yet still, somebody had to bring that language to the governor. He didn't sit up there and think of it himself, those problems. No. So what staff,
Let's let the brother answer too. Let the brother answer.
Well, that's Joe Steppenshall, the Department of Finance. He's the man. He the one put that amendment together.
The answer,
Joe Steppenshaw and the ledge director for the governor brought it to the governor. And they all spoke with Lori Wilson and Steve Bradford. That's who brought it to the governor, his own staff.
Department of Finance.
Yes.
And what did ledge analysts say?
The ledge analyst?
Yeah. They had to have a role in there with the Department of Finance.
I haven't heard anything from the legislative analyst office, the LAO. I have no idea, haven't heard from them.
Okay, so Department of Finance. So
Yes.
what that means is that they're going through the budget, they're looking at all the different departments, then they're looking at the May revise, and they're saying, we can't do it. However,
I had a discussion with the Department of Finance, and I told them that, you know, if it's gonna, the analysis said it's only a couple $1 million to stand it up. And his
That's all.
response was, we wanna do it in a different way. We don't wanna do it through creating a whole new bureau. We wanna do it through the UC system. Now, I am just the messenger.
correct.
You know, I'm saying the same thing, like, wait, it doesn't cost that much to do it. Your department said it doesn't cost that much to do it.
Mama, finish your, and then we got a
I
question
just
over
want
here,
to
Mama.
finish. I want to
Go
say
for it, go for
to
it.
everybody, rhetoric.
Exactly.
Your example is in existence today. The Department of Fair Employment and Housing, they never gave it enough money to give it enough personnel to adjudicate all those claims for fair employment, discrimination, and housing. You've got to go all the way to San Francisco to get an interview because I walked into the building. I looked at the files. They're from the ceiling to the floor in 3 or 4 rooms. The Department of Finance never allocated. The governor, over the years, how long has this department been in existence, given the Department of Fair Employment and Housing? That's all we've ever been asking for. Enough money to adjudicate, investigate, or look into any claims of fair employment and housing. The department here in Sacramento just gives you a letter. That's all they can do because they don't have the personnel to investigate. They don't have the staff. So your example in Sankofa, look at the history. Go back, see what they was doing. Bring it to now. We have a
Mama.
living, breathing department.
Mama, let me get to the next question. Yes, ma'am.
It's, you know, we're not dumb. We see what's going on, okay? So it's obviously an attempt to not have the Freedmen's Bureau be established for whatever reason. We don't know that. Okay, so you, I know you sit here to just deflect the questions and things like that.
I will not sit here.
They're gonna do, and the main thing they're gonna do.
I came here on my own, I'm sorry, I'm going to interrupt you.
I'm sorry,
Okay.
sir. But let me finish this. and
No,
then
I'm gonna interrupt you. No, I'm going to interrupt you.
Why are you getting upset?
I'm not upset at all.
Then don't interrupt.
I'm gonna defend myself.
Let her finish, sir, let her finish, cause I can talk all
I
day.
came here to dialogue with you.
Okay, I'm sorry if I offended you or anything.
I just wanna be clear. I just wanna be clear.
That's the one, cause you keep her
The louder you talk, the less I hear you. I promise.
Yeah, when you try to be fat.
Heard the apology.
You're not deterring nobody.
Let her finish, y'all, let her finish.
You are the problem.
So based upon what I'm seeing that's happening, it is my personal opinion that the need for freedmen, black folks to have a strong say in determining our steps forward, that is something that is not acceptable to Californians as a whole. And that's the reason why no Freedmen's Bureau, we're gonna funnel it through non-black entities to look at and to do whatever and water everything down. So we see this, so we're not happy. And we're not gonna change on the direction that we're going with the bill, the CJEC is going, and it's gonna happen.
Okay.
Vote him out.
Yeah,
Let me tell you something about UC Davis.
so-
Wait a minute, let me tell you something about UC Davis. They give UC Davis this funding. UC Davis is
Can I
gonna,
respond to her? Thank you. So, I came here on my own because I also feel like we should have a Freedmen's Bureau. I feel that way. And their response to me was, they wanted, they meaning the governor's office, they want to send it through the UC system. That's not my idea.
Were you grinning like you are in here?
That's not my
And telling them
idea.
that you was- that
That's
you
not
would
my
be
idea.
quiet And all of
That's
that?
not my idea.
let's get rid of the governor. Let's get rid of the governor. Vote him out.
So I just wanted to address what you said. I'm in agreement as a staff person. I believe we should have a Freedmen's Bureau to have the discussion about reparations and who should get it and how they should get it and all of
That's
that.
been decided.
I believe on that.
Decided, and also.
That's already been decided.
Now, what's your question?
My question is UC Davis.
He's speaking
Now,
for him, so that's why
UC
he's
Davis
pressing in.
knows who they are and how they have worked with people of color in the past. They know that. So they're gonna do a research. That research can go on indefinite. And while it's going on, they're spending up all that money. So when it comes around.
UC Davis is not doing the
there
research.
isn't any.
UC Davis is not doing the research.
Maybe-
CSU, California State University System is doing the research. UC Davis, UC has nothing to do with it, man.
Why is a university
I agree
handling
with you.
something which black people should be handling?
I agree with you.
They have never wanted us in a position of power. They don't want us in a position of power. They want us underneath their feet where they can control.
Vote him out.
And bringing up a university to control and decide and dictate who, where, and how. No, not when it comes to black. We have been through too much. We don't want an outside entity coming in and telling us. They've been telling us for 400 years.
That's what something. More questions? Questions, and then, Rory, I'm coming to you. Can
I
just
told
ask
him the
a question
same
real-
thing.
real
I
quick?
doubt it.
I told him the same thing.
So Sylvia, let me
We don't need a research. We
What?
don't need a research.
To vote
We
and
don't
vote
need research.
the people out. Vote in the people that are gonna do the right thing.
Hold on, Leon. Simeon, let me ask you a question here too, and then Brother Mark, I want to get you a couple questions too, brother. So, hold on, Zion. So, the question I have, and then Rory, I'm gonna come to you. So, so you are saying that the governor offered the amendments and that the governor is largely responsible. But the caucus itself had the power to take the bills up and decided not to. Your boss was one of the people who had the power to take the bills up and decided not to. So I have two questions. One, was there an internal meeting of the caucus on Friday night, the night before the final day, where the caucus voted internally whether or not to bring the bills up? And two, how did your boss vote? Did your boss vote to bring the bills up or not?
I was told it was a vote and it was 11-1, and Steve Bradford was the one.
The only one. So every other caucus member voted not to bring the bills up, except for Bradford.
11-1.
Okay.
Vote them a no.
Rory, I'm coming from you, brother.
Vote them a no.
They need to be all voted out.
Thank you.
In other words, the house nigga win. Excuse my language, but the house nigga win.
Is that Rory?
That's Rory. What? That's Rory.
A lot of times I've had an opportunity to be with people to talk to the hospital.
Look,
As a
man.
person who worked for Dr. Shirley Weber.
That's right.
And a person who worked for a black woman who stood for our people in the Capitol. And I can tell these two brothers, whether you like it or not, they have done the work for us too. But things happen politically. I remember when we worked for that young brother that was killed and we got that bill for, and so all of you made that bill work. Because they were against it all the way. Democrats and Republicans together. Black kids shouldn't have been where they've been. Damn you. All I'm gonna say is this, with these two brothers who I'm my witness, we worked on that bill. I was a part of the committee, the original committee that was with Dr. Weber to put the reparations together. I'll be damned if we go back. We got a national election that could kill us all, and we got a local election. Dr. Flo represents the heart and soul of this community. You represent the heart and soul of this community and our history, and all of you, young and old. If it wasn't for all of you, we would not be here today. So whatever we have to do, as I already told Betty, my boss, NACP. Well, not NACP now. That's another story. That hurts me real hard. Hurts me real hard. Because this lady's done the work. All I'm going to tell all of you is whatever Chris needs, we need to support him. We need to be there. Numbers do matter to the Capitol, believe it or not, that white building. And we walked all the way until we get it done. We get it done, y'all. This state was one vote. One vote, if you know your history, from the Confederacy. Why did they want California to be a Confederate? Because of the gold. It wasn't because of us, what we believed in. A priest was the one that was the last vote that said no. All I'm saying now, we gotta stand up this time. Because we don't stand up. Anybody see the movie Purge? That could be a reality. 1, 2, and 3. That's all I gotta say. We gotta fight.
Thank you, Brother Roy. So, what I want to do, first of all, Brother Marvell mentioned that tomorrow, Saturday, I believe I see the time is 9:30 now, if I'm not mistaken. 10? So,
Doors open at 9:30.
It starts at 10 o'clock.
Doors open at 9:30.
1020 O Street, tomorrow. The California Black Freedom Fund, which Brother Markey represents, and the California Legislative Black Caucus are holding State of Black California event. We want you there. We need you there.
9:30.
There will be
So you haven't registered.
to attend the event, you need to register.
Yeah.
Where can they find the registration?
It's on the flyer. If you need that flyer, I have the flyer.
Is it?
So has anybody registered?
I have, and I didn't receive a confirmation,
You haven't received?
email, no.
If you register, you're good.
Yeah.
If you haven't, that's a problem because, we're at capacity.
Can you register online?
The likelihood that, well, no, I mean, it's at capacity. I mean, there's a fire marshal situation there, and I don't control that.
Try it anyway.
It's a state building.
How much are you getting paid? How much are you getting paid?
So-
From that 12 mil?
What I want to listen. I know people. So Brother Mark is saying that it's at capacity. I'm telling people to go anyway. Okay, show up anyway. Show up anyway. Okay, 1020 O Street, 10 a.m. Show up anyway. Make them turn you away. Okay, you have a right to. So be there at 9. Okay? Be there at 9. Okay, 1020 O Street. Be there as early as possible. Okay, Brother Mark, can you? So I was going to ask you a couple questions, brother. Can you first tell people about what the California Black Freedom Fund is? Yes. And I'm going to go to Betty, then I got another question.
So the Black Freedom Fund is a special, better right here? Okay. Good afternoon, people. My name is Mark Philpart. I don't live here, but I have spent over a decade working in Sacramento. I got my start in 2009 working with Roar and Rory in Assemblymember Sandre Swanson's office. I was an advocate supporting work with the Alliance for Boys and Men of Color. I did that work for over a decade, 12 years. We passed many successful policies. I know many of you in this room because of that work. The bill that was just described, AB 392, we were a co-sponsor on that bill. We were a part of many significant legislative milestones in the Capitol. And so I come from advocacy. I come from organizing. I come from the grassroots. I grew up in South Central, but I live in the Bay. So I represent all parts of the state. And the issues that y'all are describing are issues that are near and dear to me. I want to see reparations come to fruition too, just like you. I am no longer in a position where I'm doing day-to-day advocacy, so I'm not taking positions on bills. I lead a fund that's at a foundation. We are very focused on investing in Black power building. So for us, what that means is ensuring more of you and your voices are a part of the policy-making process. We know that too few of us are in places of power making decisions about things that actually have an impact on our lives and our communities. So the Black Freedom Fund is investing in organizations to be able to ensure that everyday folks have a voice and have a say. We've been doing that work since 2020. We've invested in over 140 organizations and represent the largest transfer of wealth and investment in Black organizing in California.
So I want to get to Ms. Betty's question, but Mark, if I could ask you, brother, first of all, thank you for being here, first of all. Mark will be there tomorrow also, if I'm not mistaken.
We're co-hosting.
Mark's group is co-hosting the event tomorrow, 1020 O Street. Be there at 9 a.m., okay?
Get there early.
The question I have for you, Mark, is first of all, you just mentioned that you are investing in Black organizations to build Black power. Why are you not investing in our organization, why are you not investing in the first and only state organization born for reparations in California?
Is this about you?
This is about reparations.
I'm investing in a lot of organizations that support reparations.
But there's no organization that you, hold on. There's no organization that you're investing in that is specifically working for reparations. Is that correct?
I'm investing in several organizations that support reparations.
Is there any organization that you are invested in are specifically, exclusively focused on reparations?
Exclusively, singularly? I don't know. They do a lot of different things. I can't say. It's over 140 organizations. I can't say off the top of my head.
Okay, so thank you for answering the question.
I'm being honest.
Thank you for answering the question. Secondly, there has been $12 million put in the budget this year for reparations. So for those who don't know, this year the state passed a bill to put $12 million toward reparations implementation. So the question I have is, what is your organization's relationship to that funding? Is your organization attempting to get any of that funding?
No, we don't have a relationship with that.
Okay. So, just to clarify, I'm clear, because when I spoke to Senator Lois Smallwood-Cravis' office about 3 weeks ago. When I spoke to Senator Smallwood-Cravis' office, they confirmed to me, they told me that there was a plan to give the Black Freedom Fund half of that reparations money. So is that correct, or were they not correct? Were they informing me?
I suggest you talk back to her. I said, go back to her.
So that's not correct.
I told you my answer.
So the answer is no.
I said I'm not connected to that money.
Okay. So one last question, and my brother, thank you for answering the question first of all.
Yeah.
The last question is, I spoke to Senator Bradford's office that same day when I spoke to Lois Smallwood-Cravis' office. They told me that the Black Caucus sent a letter to the governor's office telling them what to do with that $12 million. In the letter it said, give half of the money to set the Freedmen's Bureau up and give the other half to the Black Freedom Fund.
Yeah.
Is that not true, or is that true? Is there a letter with your organization's name?
Yeah. There's a letter with my organization's name on it, but that is not an agreement between our organization and the caucus or the legislature. That is not an agreement. That's just Like we have a standing. We have a.
That's what we're asking. Are they trying to give you that $6 million?
Oh,
very clearly.
I don't know.
I know you.
No, I didn't. I was trying to answer this young woman's question up front while you were screaming, and I missed the first part, and I missed the first part of your question. I missed the first part of your question, so I was asking you to repeat yourself. Now that you have repeated yourself, I will answer your question.
Thank you.
Because
You
you
answered it already.
skipped the cue. Can I turn back to my sister up here? Can you repeat yourself? I'm sorry.
No, what I was saying was, even if you I'd rather them give it to you than give it to the universities.
But see, I don't want it. I don't want it. I don't
What I'm
want it.
saying is, if they have money, they're gonna give it to, because they still keeping, taking to themselves. The universities is not run by our government. But I'm saying is, even if they do,
They said
would you
that 3 to 5
accept
million
it?
is
Would you?
I'm solid. I'm good.
Anytime they give you 3 to 5 million is
I wanna,
always
so,
a tax.
family, if you got questions for Mark, or if you got other questions for Simeon, I wanna get them now. If you got comments, all right? Yes, sir.
My husband trying to ask a question. That was loud. Y'all ignore my husband.
I just want to make it clear, okay, because I got a little feedback about my presentation. And when the sister here was talking, and I walked to her, I wanted to make sure she understood it was her and I having a conversation, not all the rest, okay? And some felt like I was threatening, and I'm gonna tell you now, it was the exact opposite. If you felt that way, to you, I apologize.
No, brother, I
Okay?
didn't feel that way.
I apologize, okay? Because that's, my intention here is for the love and really to just provide the information, all right? And so I just want to make that very clear, all right? That's all.
All right, family, so we got another question here, okay? And then we're gonna wrap up soon, okay? Yes, sir.
Cause everybody keeps throwing that word around freedman, see, but they don't realize Biden and Harris changed the terms of what freedmen mean last year. They changed the terms to mean everybody, it included everybody. The freedmen banks gave more money to the Asians than they did us last year. So that whole term has been changed. And if people want to change, you're gonna have to come out your pocket. Cause it depends on who is financing the people that's running from office. If they ain't got none of your money, they ain't not thinking about you, they the one with the money.
So are the people getting the
So-
free healthcare, education, and
Thank you for that.
$150,000
Hold
house?
on, and Zayga, I'm gonna come to you, you wanna say some comments, and then I wanna take any other comments for Simeon, Mark, who, they were not invited to be speakers, but they have come up to be speakers. I'm sorry, hold on. Better, cool. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thanks, Chris. First of all, you've done an awesome job, and the entire crew, we just applaud you for all the work that you've done. So I want to thank that. And secondly, I just wanted to, I am the president of the National African American Civil Rights Organization, which is doing so to the polls with various restaurants where we're registering people to vote. And Queen of Sheba is one of those restaurants every Wednesday. Every Wednesday from 4 to 6. And Louisiana Heaven is another one on Tuesdays, 4 to 6, to register to vote. So, and there's other restaurants too, but I just wanted to put that plug in that we are using various restaurants. But my question is, with all the work that you've done, and we've talked about the Freedmen's Bureau, I thought there was another agency, because I haven't heard it discussed tonight, that was being considered for the Freedmen's Bureau. That was one. And two, when the amendments came in, I was told that the amendments didn't come in that night. They came in like a week. Still, they should have came in months before, but they came in like a week prior, and they were waiting on the negotiation, and I don't know if it's
August 26th, Betty, that was the day.
26th?
That's when it hit Bradford's desk, August 26th.
So you guys may not have known that it had hit that earlier in the week, because you were at the Capitol fighting, but those amendments had came, and I was told there was nothing said, or there was no negotiations. So I didn't know who can answer the Freedmen's piece, and yeah.
I think I can answer part of that, and then I'll try to answer the other part too. So there was, from what we understand, there was another idea, another alternative to the Freedmen's Bureau being talked about through the year. So this was an idea to say, instead of creating a new Freedmen's Bureau, to take what the Freedmen's Bureau would do and put it in the Secretary of State's office, to allow the Secretary of State's office to do what the Freedmen's Bureau would do. We heard about that idea some months ago, but what we got from the governor's office was not that. There was no actual proposal from any legislators or from the governor's office to actually do that. So that was not under consideration, and that never actually came as a proposal in any amendments. As a matter of fact, the amendments were to create another study and give it to the UCs. So yes, there was another idea being talked about, but there was never any proposal to actually do that. The second part of the question is about when the amendments were actually presented from the governor's office. They were presented, so we learned about them that Wednesday when the bills were supposed to come up. From what I understand, they got to Bradford's desk the Friday before that, which I believe was the 26th or so. So that is still way too damn late.
That's right.
It's way too damn late, and the amendments themselves were insulting. Those were insulting. That is not even a serious offer. It was a non-starter. So they got them, from what I understand, that Friday before the bills were supposed to come up. But normally what you do is, or in the correct way, what you do is, you do amendments through the committee process, through the months and the months and the months of committees, through the votes in the policy committees and the appropriations committees. I didn't hear nothing about no problem with the bills until the last week of the
legislative session
season. Not until the last days. That's way too late. And the amendments themselves were insulting. We're not doing no more studies. We're not doing no more studies. Listen, as I mentioned earlier, our team went to every single one of the 256 hours of task force hearings. The whole study is public right now. There's an 1,100-page report with the study in it. It's available right now online, on our website, and other places too. We're actually reading the study every Thursday, 7 p.m. on YouTube. We read a piece of that 1,100-page report. So you don't have to read it yourself. There is already a study. So we're not doing no more studies, and the amendments that the governor presented did not have that offer. So I'm gonna give y'all some of the inside baseball here from what I was thinking. So we could consider an alternative to a whole new agency and maybe an office somewhere else. We could possibly consider that. But first, that was not offered. And secondly, we're not even gonna think or talk about that until we get the bill to the governor's desk. Then we could talk about whether or not we wanna negotiate. But what happened was, we didn't even get the chance. We didn't even get the chance. And it wasn't because of the white folks. It wasn't because of the Latinos. It wasn't because of the AAPIs. It wasn't because of the indigenous families. It wasn't because of anybody else but our own legislative black caucus. Our own caucus did not allow a vote on our own bills, on their own bills.
Vote them out. Yep, they need to go.
Not one of the caucus members I heard through the whole term say, let's put this agency somewhere else. Here's an amendment. I don't like this part of the bill. I don't like that part of the bill. Not one of them. As a matter of fact, several of the caucus members have already voted for the bills in their different committees. So I was sitting there on June 11th when Assembly Member Tina McKenna of the Black Caucus and Assembly Member Isaac Bryan of the Black Caucus looked Senator Bradford in his eyes and said, thank you for bringing these bills, and then voted for the bills in their committee, only to 6 or 7 weeks later not even want to bring the bills up. So, hope that answers the questions. And I'm gonna get one here. I said, let me go here because I want to get the brother because he hasn't asked one yet.
This question is for Brother Mark with the California Black Freedom Fund.
Yep.
The meeting tomorrow, what is the meeting for? It's not about reparations, is it?
The meeting, should I take it?
Yeah, that's.
Is it better to have a mic? Okay.
Yeah, and what's up, Mike?
I gave it back to him. I wasn't sure if I was done.
Mike.
So the meeting is to cover reparations. It is a collaboration between the Black Freedom Fund and the CLBC to talk about some of the reparations platform issues and policy items, as well as their comm strategy and some of the data that has been commissioned to, basically give people who are local a snapshot of what the data is on Black Californians in Sacramento.
And you said the event is probably already sold out.
Yes, I would encourage you to get there early.
Try anyway.
I would encourage you to come anyway.
Okay.
But it is sold out.
Will you be
Registration
free?
Registration ended today at 5. It's been open. We've been doing these hearings since earlier in the summer. So we started in June in San Diego, Juneteenth weekend. We were in Santa Barbara, we were in Fresno, Sacramento, then Oakland is coming up after Sacramento.
Yep.
And then Moreno Valley in October.
Will it be streamed?
Some of them have been streamed, not all of them.
But afterwards-
Tomorrow is not streamed.
Afterwards, they have a video, you gotta watch it. I love the one we did for Fresno.
Right, Fresno,
That was
yeah.
amazing.
In San Diego.
You guys
And
gotta
San
watch
Diego.
that.
We got a question back here. All right, by the way, we got about 10 more minutes. All right, 10 more minutes, we're gonna get you out.
Always
And
good to see you,
live.
brother.
One here, and here.
So when Chris asked about the letter that has your name or your organization's name on it, and before that you had said the money is not tied to you, then that's a little bit misleading because they're asking to give you 6 million or your organization, but you just said, or where's the other guy? He said that 3 to 5 million was too much for a whole agency, but 6 million is enough for you, for your organization.
I'm sorry, what's the question?
Well, it seemed like you were being misleading. We're asking about the 6 million that they are trying to give to your organization in the letter. The letter that has your organization's name on it.
I'm just waiting for the question.
All of that.
I'm trying to be very direct.
Well, when we
What-
said, were you tied to the 6 million, you said no. You
Yeah.
clearly said no, it's on
Yes.
video, right? So you
Yes.
said no, but then when we went a little bit further, he said, well, your organization's name is in the letter for about 6 million, like half to the
Right.
school and then half to you. And then you were like, oh yeah, but it hasn't been voted on. So yeah, they're trying to give you 6 million. So I guess it's not a question, it might be a statement. 6 million is okay for your NGO, your organization, but it's not okay for an agency. 3 to 5 million isn't okay for an agency, it's even less than that. So then that's it, that's my statement. So now I have a question, because I don't do the Kaplan, it's not funny to me. This is ridiculous.
I'm trying to follow you.
And it seems.
I don't have anything to
I
do
know
with the
you
6
are.
million.
Right, and I know you are, and then let me also make another statement. For people trying to act like someone is attacking, these people, no. They came up here and said who they're representing. So yes, we have questions for them, and that is okay. Use your voice and ask questions. That is okay. It is not okay for them to come in here and be misleading, acting like they don't know what the $6 million is and he's not tied to it. But then when someone says, oh, well, it's in the letter, and then it's like, oh, yeah, well, it hasn't been allocated yet. Well, obviously it's being allocated to your org. And then the last thing is, what's going on with the lineage-based issue? Does your organization not support lineage-based reparations? And wait a minute, the reason that this question came up is because you said something about some data. You said, well, we're gonna talk about the data that's been collected on Black Sacramento. How is that? The data is not disaggregated yet. So what kind of data do you have?
You go for women, give it back to her.
No, I'm done.
We got one over here. I'll just put them on.
Yes, University of Southern California.
I don't wanna, it was just a
It was a
statement.
rhetorical question?
Yeah, it was, because there's no data. The only place
What?
that have, if there's any state employees
There
in
is
here,
no data.
I'm a state employee, and I'm trying to get people to make sure that you resurvey, so that we can start collecting data for our people. The bill SB 189 has been passed, and so if you are and so if you are a state employee, you need to fill it out. Right now, there's 18,000 Black state employees, but they are reporting that 17,000 don't know who they are, and do not want to answer the question. So if you are a state employee, or if you know somebody that is a state employee, please ask them to submit their form, resubmit it, and say who they are. Because all that's gonna keep happening is these people are gonna keep bringing data to the community that hasn't been disaggregated yet. So what is that data even talking about? It is not addressing our needs. Sorry. So I know that it's hurtful that everyone, these people have been so good for so many years. Well, I'm sorry, his organization does not deserve $6 million. Our agency deserves 3 to 5. His organization, let me repeat for those in the back that can't hear me. His organization does not deserve $6 million when our agency is being told 3 to 5 million, they can't have it, but it's peanuts. Sorry, that does not make no sense. Vote them out.
All right, we go here. Follow that, brother. We go here. We're gonna go to the young family over there. I think the young family got a question. Yes, sir.
I want to say that what we saw in the Capitol was a lot of foolishness and Samboism and tap dancing. They look like us, but they are not of us. Let's make that very clear. They look like us, but they are not of us. The economic warfare that our people face is not one that was self-inflicted. This is things that the government has strategically and systematically done to keep us as a permanent underclass. And one of the good things that California saw, and I was blessed to have this happen in my lifetime, is the same Capitol that the Black Panthers walked on. We were there. California forgot for a very long time. They haven't felt the force of Black power. And they're playing with something that should not be played with. Reparation is not something to be played with. And Gavin Newsom is learning very quickly that you cannot play with us because we're not going to play with you. One of the things I also want to say is a lot of people don't know Gavin Newsom's winery got $4.4 million of a forgivable PPP loan that the average winery, his winery had 14 employees and it got $4.4 million. The average winery in California that qualified for a PPP loan got 1.3. And one of them had 1.3 and they had typically 100 to 30 and up employees. So I'm not gonna play with another man's money. Don't play with us. Do not play with us. One of the things also too, we don't owe no one an apology, they owe us. Right. I seen the silliness and the foolishness and the laughing in our face. But I'm here to make sure that they put in their place. That 1,100-page report needs to be in every California school, and it needs to be taught. I don't think it's appropriate. I don't think it's appropriate for the descendants of slave masters to not have to teach the descendants of the descendants of slaves what their forefathers have done and continue to do on the state level. They should be forced to teach that. So I'm going to say this. I'm tired of the black faces in high places. We see the symbolism. We see the symbolism. We see the symbolism, but now it's time for substance. And I'll land with that.
Can I just say one thing to that? You know what? I really like the idea about making sure. I like the idea that the report should be in every school, and that is one of the bills that they can put in the package next year, and I think that should be pushed. Absolutely.
The DOJ, along with us, have paid for professors from UC Berkeley to create a curriculum. Curriculum is now being prepared to be introduced across the state. So your idea is actually being manifested in this very moment.
They need to know the terrorism that this state has allowed to harm their parents. They should not be insulated from the consequences of the stuff that they have done. Matter of fact, they don't want us in the classroom teaching. And that's because people like me, they have purposely set up the system because they don't want us educating our our own children. School choice is for us, and we have the right to exercise that. I have went through the school to prison pipeline. I've seen the system, and I've been through that. I was an IEP student, and they funneled me in through a subjective term saying that I have emotional disturbance. No, I'm fucking disturbed by the shit that this government continues to do to my people.
Appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you. As always, we're gonna go right into the young family, and then I think Zion, and then we're gonna wrap up, family.
Hi. I just had a question. I'm not really sure if I even understand. I'm not really sure, but I've never came to these meetings before, so I don't really know what's going on. But I'm sorry, I do know what's going on, but I am for it. But I just had a question. It's like, somebody told me that like the reparations were only going to possibly somebody who was a descendant of a slave or something else, I don't know. But I don't know if anybody else does, but isn't that like a little divisive? Because if you're not a descendant of a slave, you won't be receiving anything?
Shut the fuck up. Shut your fucking mouth. Don't play with that. You don't have the right to come in here and fuck with us. Don't fuck with me. Don't fuck with me. I don't give a fuck, bro. I don't give a fuck. My people are struggling. Don't fuck with me, you fucking weirdo. Get your stupid ass out of here. Fucking bitch.
I can help answer the question.
I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck, man. You playing with my people, bro.
You good,
Fuck
brother.
you.
Hold on, brother. You want to switch you out, brother, okay? All right. Thank you for the question, brother, first of all. All right. Thank you for the question. All right. Have a seat. You good. You good. All right. Thank you for the question. Let me help answer the brother question. Let me help answer the brother question. Let me answer the question.
United States of America.
Right on.
And somewhere down the line, one of your family members was a slave. Okay? Now you need to know what that means. And what slavery means.
Answer the question, Chris.
Go back. So I don't know what school you come from. They not teaching you. And this is what this young man just did. They're not being taught about the black hair. That's why.
Thank you, sis. Thank you, sis. Thank you, sis. All right. But first of all, the brother asked a good question. Hold on. Family, let me answer the brother question. The brother asked a good question. All right. Thank you for the question. All right. And thank you for being here. Okay. First. Second. So the brother asked, why is California's reparations effort, this particular effort, specifically for the people whose ancestors were enslaved and emancipated in this country? So one, to the question, is it divisive? Absolutely not.
No. Thank you. How not?
Absolutely not. First of all, that's the first part of the answer. But let me give you more context. So I actually helped write part of the bill to create the California Reparations Task Force. Specifically the part of the bill that talks about who is for. So specifically the bill to create the task force says this is a task force to study and develop reparations proposals with special consideration for African Americans who are descendants of persons who were enslaved in this country. So the first part of the answer to the question is this effort started specifically for the descendants of those who were enslaved in this country. That's the first part of the answer. That's how it started. Secondly, the author of the bill to create the task force, which is Dr. Shirley Weber, Secretary of State Dr. Shirley Weber, when she was asked, who did you write this for? She said, I wrote this specifically for those who are descendants of those who were enslaved in this country. That's the exactly. Hold on, I'm just trying to give you some of the context about why it is the way it is. Yeah. The task force in March of 2022 decided who would be eligible for reparations and basically affirmed all of what I just said, okay? So, part of why you cannot and we are not making this about people who are not descendants because first, we are our own people. Right. If you are a descendant of somebody whose ancestors were enslaved in this country, you are a part of a specific group of people. It is us who were promised reparations. It is, hold on. It is us, it is our ancestors who were promised reparations. Okay? Other groups, the Japanese Americans, the indigenous family, the Jewish survivors of the Holocaust, the 9/11 survivors, the people who were victims of forced sterilization in this state. Every group gets reparations specifically for the group that's harmed. Every group gets reparations specific for the group that's harmed. It ain't divisive if Japanese Americans got it for Japanese Americans. That wasn't it ain't divisive if indigenous brothers and sisters get it for them. It ain't divisive if our Jewish American brothers and sisters get it for them. And it ain't divisive if we get it for us. Now let me give you another piece. There's no way to write any reparations that says you say you black and you get reparations. That is technically illegal
in the state of California.
Unconstitutional. Okay. What's divisive is to tell me that I gotta share my reparations with anybody. That's right. That's what's divisive. That's what's divisive. Now, let me say this right now. I got a lot of family and a lot of friends and a lot of people who are immigrants to this country who are black. All right? We got a lot of family, a lot of friends, a lot of people who are immigrants to this country who are black. Some of them are in this room right now. Our black immigrant brothers and sisters, if they feel like they are due reparations, we encourage them to go get reparations. We're not gonna stop them. But guess what we're not gonna do? We're also not gonna say it's divisive for them to get theirs and not give it to us. Right. Yeah. If that's not, but if it ain't divisive for them to do it, it ain't divisive for us to do it either. Right? Now, I appreciate the question because it's a good question. We get that question a lot, and we're happy to answer that question. Thank you for asking that question.
You're welcome.
Right? And listen, we're not in the position to tell groups whether they should or should not get their reparations.
Yeah.
We fighting for us.
Right. Okay.
Now, you also know that lastly, when we get our reparations, that's good for everybody.
Yeah.
Us getting ours is good for everybody.
Yes.
But guess what?
100%.
We are not, and black folks who are descendants, I want you to understand, we are a specific, unique group of people. Don't think we're better than nobody.
Right. Yeah.
Don't think we're better than nobody.
Absolutely.
But we are specific, we are a unique, we are our own people.
Yeah.
With 80 to 90% of anyone and everyone who calls themselves black or African American. Yeah. We were promised the 40 acres and a mule. We were promised reparations, and it's for us. Okay? We're not sharing it with nobody. If other groups want to give reparations,